All right, so welcome to another episode. Shut it. Goodness gracious. Welcome to another episode. It's been a while. Sudden Change Pod. It's your boy Beans here. We got special guest. Has become a yearly guest. We got Shaq with us today. Thanks for coming on. How you
Appreciate you
feeling
having
today?
me. Feeling
Anytime,
good,
man.
man.
Love to have you. Love to get a Eagles perspective.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
we could jump right in. Last year, you guys ended what, 11-6, right? And then
Yes. Yeah.
you lost in the was it wild card to San Francisco?
Wild card to San Francisco.
So just general thoughts on last season. What you like, what you didn't like, what did you hope to see change going into 2026?
Man. Obviously it was a disappointment, coming off of being reigning Super Bowl champs, and
Of course.
you were trying to ride that into next season, trying to do something that has never been done in history, and that's repeat as Super Bowl champs. But you kind of saw it as an Eagles fan, like when Kellen went and he left and we got Kevin Patullo. Even Jalen Hurts kind of gave him kind of like, I don't know how this is going to turn out.
Yeah.
So you kind of knew the offense was going to regress, but you were still relying on like, hey, we got enough vets in the room to kind of carry us. We started off hot. I think we went what 4-0.
Mhm.
Had some good wins against like the Rams and Tampa Bay, but then it's just like the wheels started to fall off.
Mhm.
And I thought like the defense that was a plus throughout the year, but my issue, and it's always been my issue mainly with Sirianni and his philosophy on offense. It's like last year we were running his scheme. This is like his idea of how he wants the offense to run. He had the personnel that he wanted. Um, of course, injuries played a part. I'll give him, a bone there, but it was his philosophy. And then when things derailed a little bit, I remember a reporter asking him, "Is like, yo, how do we get this back on track?" And he said, "I don't know." And that's not what I want to hear from my head coach.
Right,
If
yeah.
something goes wrong, I expect you to know how to fix it and fix it quickly. And so that was like one of the things that really irked me throughout the whole year, man. It's just like, dog, this is your idea of what you want. And when it goes sour, you don't know how to like correct it. And you could just see how the Eagles are just like scrapping to kind of get things together. And everyone's blaming Jalen. AJ is not AJ. The offensive line is constantly shuffling. Saquon is not who he is. But again, the plus was the defense kind of carried us even through the midst of all that turmoil on offense. So that's the kind of like the plus and negatives to the last season.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's something that we need to give credit to this current Eagles regime, and that's they've never missed the playoffs under Nick Sirianni since 2021.
Fair.
So the expectations, though, are it's really Super Bowl or bust, though.
Yeah, that's fair. So you mentioned Bark, and I look at it, I watch it just to watch football, but I also watch a lot from like the fantasy football perspective.
Yeah,
It was in terms of fantasy, it was a major fall off for Bark last year, from at least
yeah,
from the bar he set in year one. What was the
right.
biggest reason you think that there was such a fall off for him?
Man, I think number one, when Kellen left, he ran a lot of concepts that worked with Barkley's play style, and also the offensive line felt comfortable doing. And again, the injuries. Cam Jurgens, our center, was out. Lane missed like half the season. Landon Dickerson, our all-pro guard, in and out. Um, and that weighs on you, man. And like you just don't get those lanes and those gaps that you usually get when the offensive line is in cohesion and together.
Mhm.
We were relying on second and sometimes third string backups to come in and try to pave the way for Saquon, and he didn't have that juice like he had back during the Super Bowl run. And I mean, it was tough to replicate that type of season,
Yeah, for sure.
but with the offensive line being so decimated with injuries and the play calling not knowing when to run or what type of play to run,
Mm.
I think that kind of hinders Saquon a lot too. I mean, he still had over 1,100 yards,
Yeah, it was
but
good by normal standards, but not by
right,
Bark standards.
right. He set a new bar back in 2024, but I
Yeah,
think this year he'll probably get back to probably not 2,000, but maybe around 15, 1,800 yards.
yeah. I think he'll definitely bounce back. Another kind of I don't want to say issue, but ongoing thing was the whole AJ Brown saga throughout the season.
Yeah.
The offseason comes, you get Wicks, you make some other wide receiver moves. So the writing was kind of on the wall for AJ. What were your thoughts for when they let him go? Were you happy to see him go? Were you disappointed? And what is that? How does the wide receiver room look now?
I mean, you heard the disgruntlement even during the kind of like the Super Bowl year. Like when he
Mm.
was reading the book on the sidelines, I was like,
Yeah, we
is
talked
AJ
about
happy? I mean,
that. Yeah,
so then it boiled over into kind of this past year. But even if I go back, they said that there was some drama boiling after the first Super Bowl run they had in 2022. They said AJ had some issues with some teammates, and
mm,
allegedly there was some women involved and a teammate, and they got rid of a teammate, but AJ was still kind of upset. And then we fast forward to 2025. They said he kind of just checked out, and that's when all the Diana Rossini and reports started to surface. And then that's when the relationship between AJ and Jalen started to kind of like come to the surface, and they're like, "Do y'all even like each other anymore?" I mean, Jalen was the guy, is the godfather of your daughter.
oh, I didn't know
Y'all
that.
obviously, yeah, y'all obviously not as close. And then it was all the, well, Jalen didn't come to AJ's wedding, and they're not hanging out as much. So we kind of saw as the Eagles fan base, we kind of saw like the writing on the wall, like they're probably not as cool. And people they grow apart. It happens. But I think AJ was kind of carrying that animosity on the field and his overall disdain and just being done with the franchise with his play, and it was starting to show. Like a lot of drops that San Diego game. Well, excuse me, the Chargers game, and then
Yeah, yeah,
even in the playoffs, he had a couple big drops. And I'm like, that's not AJ. So you can tell
yeah,
like he was just the body language wasn't there, and excuse me. And so we just knew that it was time. I think the main thing was like, what's his value in return? Like, what do we get for him? I mean,
yeah,
he's coming off of like what, fourth 1,000 yard season. He's all pro with the Eagles, multiple time all pro.
yeah,
Uh, I think he sets it was a Calvin Johnson record, like most games of 100, most consecutive games over 125 yards receiving. He did like I felt like he was at his best with Philly, and
yeah,
people try to like ignore that fact, like saying, "Oh, AJ finally has somebody to throw him the ball now. Now that he's in New England," I was like, "Well, I think Jalen kind of got the best out of him. He got two Super Bowl appearances, a Super Bowl. He's an
yeah,
All Pro, and again, like we just knew the writing was on the wall. We saw the tea leaves, and we're just excited as a fan base for Wicks. We're excited that Smitty's the number one because these are guys that seem to be, just unselfish dudes. Wicks has built incredible rapport so far in training camp with Jalen Hurts. Like he's
hmm
making plays all over. They just finished joint practice with New England, and Wicks look good, man.
yeah,
Thank you. And I know that was a Sean. I thought that was a Sean Mannion kind of like, hey, and him nudging Howie Roseman saying, "Hey, I like that guy.
hmm
Come bring him over." But we're gonna see. We're gonna see how he fits. Obviously, it's gonna be more of a committee this year because Jalen historically he targets his few guys,
yeah, yeah,
but now he really has to spread the ball around because we got Makai Lemon out of USC.
hmm
See how the roster shakes out after that, but we know like Wicks will be there, Smitty, maybe Elijah Brown, maybe Elijah Moore, maybe Hollywood Brown. Dallas Goddard's a favorite target.
of course.
So Jalen's gonna have to spread the ball a lot more instead of just force feeding AJ a lot.
Yeah. So, in terms of Smitty, we talked last year. I asked you, will we ever see him reach his peak with AJ there? We kind of said probably not. So now that he has the opportunity to be the number one guy, do we see him take another step?
Man, I felt like last year I thought he was gonna, finally get that Pro Bowl, maybe that all pro nod, but then I think that's when AJ started to do the pouting and the
Yeah,
cryptic tweets and, being weird with the media. And so they thought like that was surrounding like his involvement with the offense. And so they're like, all right, let's just shut him up. Let's give him the ball.
yeah,
But in doing so, they kind of took away from Smitty's production. And Devontae Smith was excellent like the first quarter of the season.
hmm
And I think he just has that ability to be an alpha. And I think with AJ gone, now we'll probably see, his skill set on full display without somebody on his shoulder, saying, "Hey, I want my touches too." I mean, I don't know. Maybe you can tell me a little bit more about Wicks. I don't know if he was like that in Green Bay, with Dobbs there, and
The whole
you know,
situation is kind of weird because there was always undertones of like there's certain people that are unhappy that want the ball that aren't getting the ball, and everybody kind of was like it's probably Wicks, but there was never anything to confirm that he was the guy that was kind of causing the rift in the locker room. So
right,
it's hard for me to say one way or another. But when he had his opportunities, he made the best of it. So
right,
that I can say about him.
right.
So in terms of we'll kind of transition to the draft. You talked about getting Lemon. Were you surprised he took wide receiver that early? And how do you think he fits in with the other guys we just named?
Man, I know there were grumblings that they were just gonna let the board shake out the way, just let the best player available fall.
And they
I
moved up for
think
him, right? They moved up for him,
they
right?
traded with Dallas.
Okay.
They traded with Dallas to get up, yeah, to
Yeah.
move up to get him because they thought that Pittsburgh wanted him.
Makes sense.
But Pittsburgh took Ty Simpson. No, Pittsburgh took somebody else, and I think the Rams took Ty Simpson, and I think that
The
messed up
Rams got
Pittsburgh.
Simpson, yeah.
And then the Eagles like, wait, we might be in striking distance to get this guy. Because I think they brought him in for a couple of like pre-draft visits and whatnot, and
Yeah.
some interviews. I thought they were going to go offensive line because the way I know Howie Roseman to be when he's in like that championship playoff window, he builds from the trenches.
Yeah.
And I know that they were looking at a couple dudes, and I also know that they needed a safety. There was some couple like some DBs that they were looking at. I honestly felt like maybe they should have went DB. But then I saw that they had their eyes set on Woodland, but I always thought that was a pipe dream. I'm like, oh, he's not going to come here. But then they got Makai Lemon, and then everything shaked out. They ended up signing Woodland, and so it works out. Unfortunately, Makai Lemon's been dealing with a hamstring injury in
Right. I saw
training
that.
camp, but I think he's kind of maybe have like a redshirt year. They're not
Okay.
going to rush him back.
Yeah.
But I mean, this kid is getting like comparisons to like St. Brown from Detroit. So
That's
I feel
big.
like if you can figure out how to use him properly, to me, his skill set reminds me of Puka. I can definitely see the St. Brown.
Yeah.
You know, he can line up everywhere. They're going to use him as a weapon. I heard some reports that they might even put him in the backfield, like just to flex him out, to just get creative.
Might
So
as
I'm
well.
really excited to see him. And then we got Eli Stowers, which I felt like that was more of a luxury pick. I felt like they really should have gone need there. That
Hmm.
was the tight end from Vanderbilt.
Okay. I remember that.
Strictly a pass catching tight end. His blocking is yet to be desired, but he's working. He made some good plays against Baltimore in his last preseason game, and I'm excited to see him alongside Goddard. They run a lot of 12 personnel, so
Isn't
they
Goddard
said
towards the end of his contract?
he's signed. He's re-signed for 1 year.
Okay.
Um, and I heard like Jalen really had to get in his ear, like, "Yo, bro, come back," because he
Yeah,
was
that's his
thinking about,
guy. Yeah.
yeah, he's like a safety blanket for him.
Yeah.
So, but the Eagles do need to think about life outside of Dallas Goddard.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to pay him, unless you're going to, pay him long term money, which I don't think they're going to do that because they have Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean to pay.
Yeah.
So
Quickly.
we'll see. We'll see.
It's a good problem to have. You got so much talent. You got to figure out who to keep, who not to keep. You guys are
Right.
very deep. So I
Yeah.
would like
Yeah.
to have
Yeah.
that problem. So after seeing the division last year get, well, I won't say better because we didn't, because Washington had the issues with at quarterback. But seeing the Giants and Cowboys kind of being what we thought they would be, what are your expectations for the division this year? And I remember talking to you last year and saying I like what the Giants did, and I think
Mhm.
Dart showed promise. I think Scatterbo, when they all get healthy, they got a nice young core. So what are your expectations for the division this year?
Look, man, I'm gonna try to be as objective as I can. So look, I felt like all NFC East teams had a strong offseason and draft. Like
True.
I thought all of them had like very solid drafts. Um, Now we know with the Giants, Harbaugh's there.
Yeah, forgot about the new coach. Yeah, big difference.
But Cam is coming off a devastating, season-ending injury. We don't know if he'll ever get back to what
Neighbors as
he
well.
neighbors as well. But they
So
have, Odell. They signed what's homeboy, the wide receiver they drafted. Um, they got Malachi Fields,
hmm
and they got Isaiah Likely now. It's Harbaugh's. Harbaugh brought a lot of guys over there. The defense is going to look different. I still don't trust Dart. I feel like he's still a little bit reckless, and
yeah,
he's young, so
yeah,
that's a tendency. But I still think they're probably like a 4 or 5 win team.
really, that's
Even
it. When
I
healthy.
just when healthy, I just still think they're still in that rebuilding stage.
Wow. Okay.
Even with Harbaugh there, I think the only team that kind of gives me worry, and I don't even call it worry, but probably is next is Dallas because they're bringing all the guys back. They got Caleb Downs.
I was gonna
They
say that
got
defense got a lot better.
the defense. The defense is going to be good. They got Christian Parker. He was our defensive backs coach last year, and he was considered like a up and comer around the league. And now he'll be calling the defense for Dallas.
hmm
Um, Now, I thought Dallas when they had Dan Quinn, they missed their Super Bowl window, but I'm a big supporter of Christian Parker. Of course, I'm not rooting for him now.
Yeah, of course.
He's in Dallas, but I think Dallas will be up there. I see them as between a 9-10 win team. I still think their running game is a little iffy, but they're really a pass first team. Washington, who knows about Jaden Daniels' health?
hmm
I still think they still have some questions around running back and wide receiver. Terry McLaurin, can he continue to show hey, I can get better with age?
Yeah,
Their
picked up
defense,
Diggs.
yeah, they got Diggs now. Um, I'm not sure about their defense. I know they got the other. Um, there was I think a linebacker from Ohio State that they drafted early.
hmm
He's supposed to be like a key guy, but they lost. Um, what's the middle linebacker guy? He used to play for Seattle. Drawn a blank.
Wagner.
Wagner. They lost Wagner.
Yeah,
And I think the criticism last year with Washington was that they were a little too old.
yeah, they were
And
pretty
their
old.
DBs aren't, the best. So we'll see. I see them as around maybe like a 6 win team. The Eagles always drop one in with Washington some way, like towards the end of the season when we're not playing anything significant. But I don't believe in Jaden Daniels' health.
Really? Oh,
His
health.
skill.
Okay.
I just don't think he'll stay healthy because of his play style.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Those are some pretty low win totals you gave the rest of the division, but hey, you know better than me. Um, so what are your well, generally, what do you predict for the Eagles this year, record wise? I'm just looking at the schedule real quick. You start off pretty tough, division opponent, the Commanders, Titans. That should be easy win, but then you go Bears, Rams, Jags, Panthers, all playoff teams,
You know
and
what?
then Cowboys. So that's a pretty
Let-
tough start.
You're right. And let me actually pull up the schedule so I can look, and I'll give you an honest answer right now. Okay. So
Colts, Seahawks, Texans towards the end, Niners. You got a tough schedule.
I think if we go for the first 4 games, I think we can go 3-1. So you got Washington, Tennessee, the Bears, Rams. I think those first 4 games, Eagles can realistically leave there 3-1. At worst, 2-2.
Agreed.
It's tough to win at Soldier Field, but
Mhm.
here's where I give them the edge. I think that we should have beaten the Bears last year, but
Yeah.
that's when we were in the midst of that. What are we doing on offense? What are we? We can't get a play call right.
hmm
We were right there in the game. It's just like stuff started to fall down for us on the offensive side. And I think now that we got Sean Mannion, who kind of has an idea of what he wants to do, seems more assertive. He's like known as a teacher. He's had history, plenty of history with the Bears being in that division last year. He knows what to look for. And I think that it's tough to, beat Jalen Hurts twice. So
Fair.
I think I can see them even going 4-0 because we have just a good track record against the Rams too. For some reason, Nick Sirianni just gets McVay, gets the best of them.
It's fair. Yeah, I haven't played him with what you call it, the Garrett. That's a big difference maker right there.
And then shoot, what I'm hearing, Aaron Donald might come back.
I saw that too. Yeah, that's
So I mean, and then we got the Jaguars. I think that's a dub.
in London.
Panthers. We always split one with Dallas, so
Hmm.
I'll give and then we always split one with the Washington Commanders. It's always one funky game that we play them, and it goes weird for us. I think we're going to sweep the Giants this year.
I could see that.
I think that the Steelers are regressing. I think
Agreed.
Aaron Rodgers needs to call it. I'm not even with McCarthy there. He has familiarity. I just still think that team is just. I don't think they just don't know where they are. I think they're just right in that kind of like that medium space. Um, they're not quite a playoff team, but they're not like terrible. So I just think the Eagles will just take care of business there. Dallas again will probably beat that game, win that game. Arizona, that's going to be a win. I don't even see Arizona winning more than 2 games this year.
Nah, agreed.
They're going to be bad. I think we'll beat the Colts.
Hmm.
Seahawks, I think we might. I don't know. Historically, the Eagles have not played well against Seattle.
You guys
And
got
that's
lucky though. You get Seattle and LA at home, so that makes a difference.
right. We don't have to travel, which is big.
Yeah,
So, but man, that defense in Seattle, they just signed Trevon Diggs, man.
I saw that. Yeah,
They got Diggs, they got Arnold, and they got Weatherspoon. That's a crazy defensive backfield. So
that's deep.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I can't call that one. I'll just call it a loss. I think we'll beat the Texans.
That's two
Um,
very good defenses back to back because Texans were like top three defensively too. So
right. Man, you got Stingley and those boys back there, man. It's gonna be tough. That defensive line is very underrated.
mhm.
Um, I think we'll beat San Fran in San Fran. I'm thinking like maybe 12, 13 wins.
Yeah, I can see that. Actually, looking through it and kind of seeing what's on each week back to back, I think you could definitely get 12
Yeah.
wins. Um, so lastly, now that we've talked about some of the teams and the games, where do you rank yourself in terms of the NFC, in terms of the best teams? So Seattle's coming off a Super Bowl. The Rams were right there, and they've got substantially better with Garrett. Then you got the usual teams. You got your Detroits. You got your who's I said Packers, of course, are
Yeah.
going to be in the mix. Yeah, the Bears have gotten better. The South Carolina's there, but yeah, I don't really put too much stock in the Carolina. So where do you see yourself in terms of the top echelon of the NFC?
Do I think there'll be a top 2 seed? No. I think I think the Rams in Seattle, they're gonna be maybe the 1 and 2. Just think they're that good, man.
Agreed. Yeah.
It's just when it comes down to playing like meaningful and like close games, like towards the end of the season, it just seems like they separate themselves.
Hmm.
We'll see how it goes with Philly this year. I'm still kind of battle scarred for what happened last year, and how we just fell apart when we were kind of running away with stuff. Uh, and then we can't forget about Tampa. I mean, Baker's
Yeah.
playing for a new contract. He said that he's extra motivated this time around. That defense is always sound.
Yeah.
They got a lot of weapons. You got to throw them in the mix. I think realistically, the Eagles are a top 4 team,
Yeah.
maybe the fourth, third at best. I just think that Seattle and LA will be up there with like 1 and 2.
I would agree. I would definitely agree.
Maybe if Caleb continues to kind of ascend, maybe they can challenge the Eagles with that fourth or third spot. But I don't know. I don't know. I mean, that defense is tough. And then Ben Johnson's talking about, look, I'm just now tapping into my bag as far as an offensive play caller. So he's saying like I'm just getting better. And we
I mean,
already, the league already kind of herald him as this kind of like this boy genius as far as calling plays.
yeah, I don't
And
know.
I always have respect for LaFleur and what he does in Green Bay.
Yeah, I get it. I think the Bears are a bit overhyped, but it is year two. We'll see if they regress or not. And it's just from a kind of unbiased opinion. I think we showed in the playoff game that when LaFleur is actually coaching at his best, we're up
Yeah,
21-3. Then he
yeah.
decides that he just gets into a whole different mode. It's like take the foot off the gas and we lose. But severely outcoached in the first half, and then I don't know. Caleb is turnover prone and he's not great with the completion percentage. So that can only last so long. But maybe Ben Johnson gets him right. We'll see. But I don't know.
What?
I don't believe
Let
it.
me ask you this: what do you think from a Packers fan perspective? What do you think exactly went wrong with LaFleur and that playoff game in the second half? What would you narrow it down to?
I think
Y'all
it's
had him. Y'all had
yeah, I
him.
think the play calling got stale. I understand you want to run the ball, run clock,
Be
but if
conservative, right?
you're not picking up yards on first and second down, you gotta switch it up a little bit. I think I will give Ben Johnson credit because he figured out the matchup that worked. He figured out that our linebackers and safeties couldn't keep up with Loveland. Up to that point, the defense looked amazing. But once he
Yeah,
found that, we
yeah.
didn't adjust. And as much as I love what's the head coach in Miami now, who was our defensive coordinator. As much as I love him, I thought he was our best coach on the staff.
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
He
yeah, yeah, yeah.
he
Bro.
halfly. He didn't adjust. And then lastly, you just can't miss kicks. We missed like 3 kicks that game. So
Mm,
people are putting this all on Love's shoulders, like you should have led the comeback, but we missed a bunch of kicks and we dropped a lot of passes. So a lot of things had to go wrong for us to lose that game. To make it
right.
long story short. So,
Yeah. Eh,
but hopefully things are different this year. But
see, man, that division is tough too because I think
just
with the NFC North, with them getting Kyler now, and I think I I don't know if people follow me on social media. I am a huge fan of Kevin O'Connell. Like I just think
yeah, he's good.
he knows how to fix quarterbacks. And we saw evidence with like he made Kirk Cousins better. He
Mhm.
fixed Sam Darnold. Um, he made I forgot what Burrow's name was. He made him look competent. I think he's going to do a good job with um Kyler Murray. If he can
Yeah,
just get him to kind of just like relax as a passer, work on his mechanics, he gets happy feet a lot too
yeah,
much. I
yeah,
mean, he just off. I feel like if you kind of settle him down and really like focus on driving the ball downfield, I think Minnesota can be dangerous too because that defense is really good under Flores.
yeah.
So
I think they could be right there. I don't want to admit it, but they had 9 wins last year with JJ McCarthy and whoever else they were throwing
right,
out there. So that
yeah,
defense is definitely elite. They got a lot of talent on offense, JJ and Addison and those guys. So
Jefferson, yeah, man,
it's
it's gonna be
it,
tough.
division is crazy. And Detroit is Detroit. So
I
we'll
think they're
see.
gonna be. I think they're gonna regress this year.
Detroit,
I think this is gonna be the head coach's last year.
really?
As patient as that family, as the family that runs the team,
Detroit,
as
yeah,
patient as they are, I think they're gonna be like, look, bro, we had a window. We thank you for kind of ushering us in through, to this new era. You got us
yeah.
through a tough rebuild. Golf ain't getting better under you. We got a lot of guys that aren't really taking it to the next step under you. I think you got us to a point like you served your purpose, and now it's time that we got to get somebody to get us to further into the playoffs.
That's fair. No, I could see that. I don't know. I think this year will tell a lot. I think they regressed last year, but that's expected when you lose your DC and your OC. And your OC was Ben Johnson, who was one of the greatest play callers. And maybe Ben Johnson did make the head coach look a little better than he was because of what he was able to do as the offensive coordinator, all the points they were putting up. So we'll see. We'll see this year, but I definitely can understand that. Before we get out of here, anything else you want to add, just in general?
Oh man, look, football is back. I am
It
excited for that. It to me, this long off season, man.
was
Um,
felt long.
I felt like it was longer than normal. Like I was like, man, usually the NFL season creeps up on me, but I felt like this one I was really like circling. All right, training camp is here,
Yeah.
preseason is here. All right, man, I'm gonna make it.
Hmm.
But just glad this is always like a good time for me as far as like content, just the sports, engagement. I really love it.
Yeah, of
Football's like my favorite sport to watch.
course.
We always get to connect like this, man. It's always a pleasure, bro.
I
So
love it
I love this time of year, man.
for sure. You got the show on YouTube. Tell the people about that.
Man, Fourth and Chill on YouTube, man, up and coming channel. Would love your support. Man, come in. If you want to throw some dialogue in the comment section, please feel free. I try to engage everybody. I mean, you can follow me on social media if there's something that you want to talk to me about. I'm always up for good, healthy sports debate, except for if you were a Dallas Cowboy fan. I really don't. I have nothing to say to you. I know I'm just joking, but hey, man, yeah, come check me out, Fourth and Chill. I try to upload weekly.
Hmm.
Um, Trying to just get better, trying to get to that YouTube space, trying to just reach people. I may even try to start podcasting soon. Who knows, man?
You definitely got
Might
the.
start live streaming, trying to just tap into that field, man.
You definitely should. You definitely got the insight for it. I can attest. I've watched plenty of the episodes on Fourth and Chill. Commented likes is
Appreciate,
definitely good stuff. So I would advise everybody to go check that out and watch that. But yeah, it was great to have you on, and
appreciate you,
maybe we could do
brother.
it again during the season. Maybe we'll wait till next season. We'll see how the season plays out. But yeah, love to have you back on again.
Always love, brother. Thank you.
For
Appreciate
sure.
you.
Absolutely. And we will catch you guys next time. Set and Change Pod.